we're back. Wow, that was like a smooth transition, and we're here back with Rik. Welcome to the Adobe booth. How does it feel?
I'm honored. Adobe is where my journey started, of course, with Photoshop. So whenever Adobe asks me something, I'll be there.
Well, okay.
I'll be there.
I think you have the best intro so far.
Oh,
I didn't
word.
even ask you to say that, but that's great.
No. But it's true. Like Adobe, changed everything for me because I stumbled upon Photoshop, and that's where it all started.
I have so many questions about that, but
Okay.
firstly, congrats on being done with your talk. I know you're
Thank you.
fresh off.
Yeah.
And you told me you went super well.
Yeah, like usually I'm super nervous to talk about, like, you figure it, like I got more confident during the last years, I guess, regarding my craft, and also because I'm sort of, because of the NFT thing and blah, 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 but also, like I'm in a good position myself, I feel. So I noticed that really paid off on stage as well, which was great. Like I could have stayed on for another hour if I wanted to.
I love that.
And while I was nervous in the beginning, and I think that's healthy.
Yeah.
I think like whenever you're just like nervous, you don't care enough. So yeah, it went pretty well.
Is that something you're used to doing, like the kind of public speaking, being in front of a audience?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
COVID happened, of course,
Yeah.
so it was mainly like live streams and such things. Before that, because I'm ambassador for various hardware, whatevers. They sent me out like to like conferences to speak, so I spoke for them on OFFF. Like it was last time was like 2018 or 19. When did COVID happen? Or was it 2020?
2020 was the big year.
So 2019 was like, and I made them throw a rooftop party on that hotel out there. So that was great.
Did you?
I did that. I said,
You're
like,
one
guys,
of those.
if you want to make a good impression, throw a party, and everybody will love you.
So were you at the party yesterday? Did we find you there?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I was
you
still.
behaved?
Yeah, I had to, because otherwise, like, once I have one beer, I'm gonna have another 10.
Okay,
probably.
you can celebrate after this. As
I
we said,
will.
you're gonna be done with your off duties.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like heaven.
Shall we introduce you firstly, like more formally to everyone who's watching? So we'll do like the basic.
Yeah,
who
sure.
are you? What you do?
What inspires you? Blah blah
Exactly.
blah blah blah.
And then we
what
can move
software
on.
do you
Yeah,
use?
exactly. You already said Photoshop.
Yeah,
Check.
for sure. Okay, Adobe's happy. Just fly me out to Adobe Max.
Aha,
would
that's
be
the
good.
request.
That would
Ooh,
be
Max, we
That would be good.
get a lot of questions.
That would be good. Okay.
So,
Hello.
introduce your, let's say what you're doing, how you got into this. I know you were very experimental at the beginning of like your small town. You've done a lot of interviews on how this came about.
I fell in love with Photoshop on the age of 14, so 19 years ago already. It was Photoshop 7, I believe. This is awkward, Andreas. Don't do it. Somebody's taking a photo of me, sorry. But yeah, I was 14 and didn't really have a clue what to do with life, but I really found like expressing myself through art was the way for me.
Yeah.
Also because I wasn't in the best position myself, like mentally, like I was already going through like therapy and shit at such a young age, medication and blah, blah, blah. And I really found myself within like creating something out of nothing, you know, like that magical feeling. And back in the days, of course, I'm from the Netherlands, so I had my dose of joints and weed.
Other things.
Yeah, but it was,
Yeah.
and I woke up the morning after and I was sort of amazed by myself. And by sharing that online and finding like-minded people on other ends of the world, that was just blowing my mind. And because I'm from a small town indeed, the internet was really my sort of solution and my getaway. And I could totally be myself there, and that felt good.
We talked with Baya earlier on, who was on stream, and he was like, you know, the first years I was just a bad designer, and things like improved. How do you feel you like built confidence in the tools, or like, I mean, we don't really need to go into detail about how you work, but more, you know, like, did you fine tune that?
Well, the fun thing is, I never really, like, I know Adobe rolls out tons of updates.
Yeah.
I never touch any of those in the 19 years I've been doing this. So
You're one of those people.
yeah, I'm one of those old grumpy guys that don't like changes. No, but it's more like...
If you're one of those, let us know.
Yeah, no. But yeah, no, Photoshop came and I had massive fun. I can show you my first creation ever, by the way.
Yeah, perfect, let's start.
Can we do that?
Sure.
Like, this is my first creation I've ever...
Is it?
Digistar, boom. I don't know what's...
I love the boom like this.
what's their like mission complete, or I don't know what it's saying. Access forbidden, it says there.
Yep.
No, but this was my first creation ever, and you see, like, I used the pen tool a little bit. I used the outer glow, but I don't know why it's green. But like those are like the very basic of basic. And if you look at my work right now, I need to scroll through it though.
Yeah, no worries.
If you look at my work right now, like this is more recent. Like it's
Crazy.
same. It's still the same kind of tools I use. Like it's mainly pen tool focused. Brushwork, I use a lot of brush, but this is more my 2D workflow. Haven't ever changed, and actually, all approach with whereas like this one, for instance, it's more like you sort of see like how I bring things to life from something very flat and basic, and um, try different things. This is Illustrator, by the way, so I mess around with that as well. And then go back to my OG love, Photoshop as always. And that's sort of how I work and how I like to just have the basic tools and not worry too much about whatever a company or a software producer comes up with next. Not rely too much on that. But just having the basic needs is already enough for me.
Yeah, and you also tested, I think, in early days, like animation. You went into like just very like crafty and like experimenting with everything, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like I tried. Like I went to from Illustrator, I went to 3D, which was quite a nice transition because you can take the pen tool shapes I made in pen tool, like I do everything, into like 3D. But also animation indeed, like I try to blend it with photography, physical paint and whatever. Like I try to add as much to my, how do you say that? My toolbox as possible.
As like a mechanic.
Yeah, and I even tried also things I didn't like. For instance, like an animation workflow isn't really my favorite workflow because I like it fast and direct. For instance, like I tried Houdini for 6 months and I didn't like it. So I just don't add it to my workflow. So I sort of stick to my old grumpy base tools, which always there's always Photoshop involved in every workflow I have.
Yeah, and I mean, in the end, it's the output, right? Like you are producing these results, and I'm not actually guessing what you worked on, like just looking at this. So it's what's most satisfying to you in terms of like playing with.
I really try to find myself through my work, and I can only find that self by figuring out what I don't want to do, right? Like you just try whatever you want, and if you have the patience, because right now, like, I wouldn't say I will learn something new anytime soon, because right now I'm at a pretty good spot. Back in the days, it was just like you jump from software to software. And the first time I touched 3D was like after 2 years of doing this already. But it didn't fit in back then, but 10 years later it could make sense. And by learning 3D and the way light, shadow, material works, you could add that to your 2D workflow. So you sort of build an identity, and I think the most important thing is that you actually like the workflow you're in. It's not like a headache. I had workflows or animations where I just sat on and didn't enjoy the process at all. I think the process is, the process should be nice.
And I mean, you talked a bit about having a community or finding people when you started. Like, how is it nowadays? Like, do you still feel like you're finding people?
Oh no, it's amazing.
Oh, cool.
No, it's amazing. Actually, it wasn't too much in the Instagram days, because I find Instagram quite like curated. You post a photo and it's just like, okay, somebody says, oh wow, or amazing work. There's never like a dialogue going on. And that's what I liked in the old days where we were chatting on MSN Messenger and stuff like that. But right now, thanks to the entire NFT movement and such, which is moving to Twitter, that made me move to Twitter, and from Twitter into Discord. And
cool. Discord gets mentioned. That's fun. Yeah.
Why is Discord from you guys?
Because we do have like a Photoshop server. We have like a lot of conversation in there, and it's exploding.
It's fun. It's fun. It's actually like my Discord is more of like a bar, I would almost say, where there are like creators from every kind, from every corner of the world. They just check in. They share their new work. And it's all under my name, but like when I'm not talking, there's still activity, which is the best thing ever, I guess. So I mean, and Twitter as well, where it's more like a dialogue. You can actually have a conversation. Instagram, I was overly curating whatever I posted there, also because I was working on behalf of companies. Like I've been an Adobe ambassador for 2 years, I guess.
I saw you on Adobe Live as well with some of my US folks.
I know my duty, so they really should fly me to Adobe Max.
Again.
Really do it.
Another plug.
Do it.
Very cool. And you mentioned NFTs as well. Let's talk a little bit about that and how like that was a success for you.
Yeah, well, NFTs are tricky, of course, because first of all, NFTs are amazing. Like after Beeple's sale, I think I got more confident and it was more clear that what I was doing, right? Like before that, I was more or less a tool, and all this sudden digital art got the acknowledged thanks to that Beeple sale as an art form, right? Like I think it was the third sale from a living artist, which is amazing. So
Wow.
that means
Okay.
that changed everything for me, especially because I was mainly working for clients, and with clients it's always like someone else is approving if you did it correct or not, right? Like they say, oh Rick, this is amazing, yeah, we're finished. Like you're not like the director yourself.
Yeah.
And, after having a super successful client run, I decided to take a break. Our first kid was born, or our only kid was born, sorry. Our kid was born, and I was supposed to take a break, and then I dived into NFTs, and it was amazing to connect with a different wave of artists, different disciplines, different, like, how you call it, different scenes as well, because you have the crypto people, you have technology people, like everything
AI
comes together.
now is like
AI, true, like, and it's so interesting to
Yeah.
get like this new wave of inspiration and also a new confidence boost, because like whatever you were doing before, you never felt you were an artist, and right now you sort of like get more balls because of that. But yeah, so far so good, and it's just like fun to me. But I want to remain a hobby for me. I don't want to be that guy, like I'm not saying no to client work no more. Like I don't want to be that guy.
That it becomes your full-time.
Because I noticed like once something becomes full-time, it gets like boring.
Not fun.
And it will become a drag. I don't know if you like doing this. Is it full-time for you?
It is. I do like it. And
Okay,
but it's a bit different if you like were doing it before and then it becomes your job, I think, and becomes like taking over your life. I think you should always have precious things that keep you inspired or happy or like,
exactly, and it could be just intense, especially that the fact that people put value on whatever you do. So there's another stamp of like approval. Which you had first the Instagram likes, which I was sort of obsessed with, but it gets scary at some point as well, right? And if you care less about that, like it's just like it's much more fun.
Yeah, totally. And is Instagram like a big channel for you, or do you feel like there is pressure on there? Or
there's pressure on there. Like I didn't post for over a year, I guess.
That sounds healthy though. Like maybe.
Yeah, but it's just like right now I feel like you need to sort of like you need to be a content creator to get reach out there.
Totally, that's the right word.
I'm already having problems to create cool shit, and when like, I don't have problems with that, but like I don't feel the need to put in double the work to make a cool reel about that. Like that's not me. Like if somebody wants to do it for me, hit me up in my DMs, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Sure, that's a good outreach. You mentioned clients. Maybe we should also talk about a few and like the projects you've worked on. I don't know if you had any in the presentation, but we should show more of your work.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I have plenty of like, I can do some client work of mine. I also did the branding for Adobe Max 1 year, by the way.
Ah, yeah, I know. Like showing
so
some
here
of
are
the
some
Adobe.
like works. Like I also sold like that was cool. Like I got to be there in real life. Did campaigns for Ray-Ban.
Very cool.
Adobe used my work, still does. Like they're actually using this for like over 6 years already. HP.
Yeah, I recognize it, and I didn't know it was yours.
Yeah, no, but that's cool. I once came here at OFF like a couple of years ago, and my work was featured by Adobe, and what else was it? I don't know. Oh, OFF was featuring me as well as a speaker, and they used the same image. So yeah, I also did the branding for Max.
Yeah.
I do animation work,
Very cool.
which is fun too. Sorry, I just like whatever. Like clients hit me up and tell me like, hey Rick, we want something, and I do it.
Yeah.
But in the end, still like often it is the case that they have to approve it. So this was really like, it was lovely to do it, but I was always scared to say no, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And all of a sudden you end up working like 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I have to choose, this was a slide in my presentation in between the left and the right. Like
that's really funny.
Yeah, that's a nice video, nice photo, huh?
Nice pic. You were like, that made it in front of three.
I wasn't happy. So the pressure of staying relevant was always a thing for me.
Yeah.
Like you always kept on pushing yourself while making money, and like it was like you kept saying yes to every client. At the same time, you want to work on your own stuff. Like so the progress really literally stagnated for me and almost burned me out.
And that's part of like also learning, or did you feel like you stagnated in terms of just progressing, or
it's just, like you
just satisfying clients?
Satisfying people.
Yeah.
And also the fact that once you got big on Instagram, I think I had 100,000 followers quite soon.
Yeah.
That you sort of like deal with this expectation level and start to rely on likes from others.
Yeah.
That sort of because in the end it's a subjective field. So um, does the amount of likes tell me if I do good or not? But I started to really judge my work that way. And if I had many likes on a piece, like I started to believe it's a good piece, so I should continue that direction. And, like relying on that instead of your own gut feeling really fucked me up for a while.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said fuck.
No, all good. But it's also, I think, taking a break from that sounds like you can refocus on like what you want to do and go back to
especially
it.
like I have a beautiful photo of my kid. Like I just
Oh,
want to show it
please.
because I'm proud. I'm proud. I'm
Yeah.
a proud dad.
Aw,
Look at that.
so sweet.
Oh wait, I gotta tell this.
Please
This is-
do.
No, this is amazing. You guys, like, Adobe needs to give me money for this. Trust me. Sorry. Oh, sorry for the fuck. So look at this.
Yeah.
Right? This is my son's first name, second name, third name.
Ah, nice.
But I felt like, okay, what? What if I change it around? And look at his initials right now.
This is so. What?
Photoshop document. That's how much I love
So
creating.
good.
Yeah. So
I
yeah.
can't wait for JPEG to make
no,
it
no.
into your family.
That would be amazing. Oh, no, we take it easy. One is enough. So yeah, that's kind of how passionate I
It's
am
almost,
about.
yeah, it's like a love letter to
No,
Photoshop.
not to Photoshop. Like it changed
And
my
your
entire
child.
life. Yeah, and also when me and the lady got together
Yeah.
12 years ago or something,
Oh, nice.
I told her like Photoshop will always be on the first place. I can't believe she's still with me.
Wow.
But it's amazing.
Luckily you said Photoshop and not someone else.
Yeah, yeah,
That's,
yeah.
I think that you got away with it.
Yeah. No, for sure. So yeah, it's been a ride, and especially
Yeah.
with the NFTs coming in, the client run, like I can't be anything but blessed in that sense.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
But it also took a lot of work and
Yeah.
to digest like who am I, what do I want to create, what is my style in general, like to get to a point where people recognize the style of you.
Yeah.
It takes like ages as well, and
Yeah.
that's pretty cool that I somehow managed that.
How do you feel about it today? Like do you feel like you got control over this like existential like question of progressing and staying relevant? Or?
Yeah, no, I don't have the solution for it, but
Yeah.
I think like putting less pressure on like the numbers around it, which is hard regarding NFTs. Have even made a bigger change regarding numbers because people value your work for a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
But I try to sort of like focus really on myself, and saying no to things really helped me a lot in that confidence, and
Yeah.
that confidence also made me experiment more.
Yeah.
So, oh wait, I can show you
Definitely.
some work I've done.
And is it personal work? I know you had a client work in there, so maybe you have some
do you want to see client work or personal work?
personal work would be fun. I think
Okay,
that's
so this is like the output of my last like.
so
Okay, wait,
cool.
we start from scratch, but this is my output of my last like month on Twitter. So you can sort of see whatever I create, like it goes from here to there, to animation, and I just found like the fun part back without caring too much on like
Yep.
how many people does it reach, like what does it mean, what can I do with it, do clients see the potential here, like I got stupid frogs and why not connect them, and why not like I just have fun, and I think that's the most essential part. Oh, I should skip that.
Like a quick scrolling.
Yeah, but like, yeah, let's move into gradients and just like express yourself. And that's actually the core where it all started for me. And like going through that phase again of sort of like reinventing myself without too much pressure on what others think really helped me a lot these days. And
maybe there's a cycle through that. Like this
Yeah.
just makes me think that maybe in 5 years we'll do it again, or it's maybe in 2
I
years
will.
and you're
I
like,
will get tired of something else again, and
Yeah.
whatever. Like, but you constantly change, and it's always like finding a balance or a sweet spot.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. So this is sort of like my past three weeks in images, what I created, and you can see like it goes from whatever to whatever. You know, like what else do I have? How much time do we have?
we
Because
have about like 3-4 minutes, so
I did a very cool project.
I think we have time.
I want to show that. So
Yeah, go
once
for
I
it.
decided on Twitter to sort of like play it open, so I just show like the base of an idea I had and started to go step by step and make that evolve. And yeah, I just showed a piece actually. But the cool thing is, wait a second. So these are the ways I want to execute it, but I was kind of like clueless, like what way do I want to go? But then I was like, because I'm more confident right now, I hired, I sort of like,
wow, how cool.
yeah,
That's so,
This
I
is
did not
Dave-
expect that.
No, but this is David Knott, and he put my work into a total different perspective, and that was so
Wow,
inspiring
yeah.
to see, right? Like, I have this fucking thing at home,
Yeah.
like this, like I have it, and the piece was inspired by those shoes as well, which is weird.
Nice.
So I was curious, like, what if I make that a challenge? So I gave source files, I made them up for download,
Yeah.
and give people a 2-week deadline, and actually pay them for the winners as well, because
Yep.
I don't believe in that exposure promise, like, oh, you get, I will change your life if you win.
Yep.
So yeah, get eyes on artists, challenge people, get inspired, and I want to. So, sorry, I don't. We don't have much time. So it got downloaded for like 1,100 times, and
Yep.
this is like what people. There were almost like 400 submissions, creators from everywhere, and this is a sort of a recap of like. Now there's a terrible sound behind it, but it shows like all the variety
wow.
of
So
art and artists
Yeah.
from different backgrounds. Like this blew my mind. Like this is really the power of art to me.
Yeah.
Like, and everybody's putting my work into their perspective and in their identity with their identity around it, and
Yeah. Super cool.
it's simply amazing.
Love it.
Yeah,
We-
it still goes on, but you can talk. Like
Okay, love it. Wow, like how many submissions did you get?
it was a lot. It was
That's insane.
And I left out the animations. There were like 30 animations. There were like 2 audio submissions as well.
Do you think you'd do something similar again? Like
Yeah,
what's coming
yeah.
up this year? It's almost like crowdsourced, like
Yeah,
I
for
don't know.
sure.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's like good to challenge other people as well with your work.
Yeah.
But you get so much back for it. And I threw an exhibition after that where I showcased
So
like
cool,
all the
yeah.
artists, and it was a low key exhibition. But even like the parents from the winner, like I'll go through. Like the winners, which was like an illustrator from Spain, like Tormius, who's
Wow.
like super talented. This one, sorry, Ova, I don't know if you're watching, but I got to skip you once more. But like that body of work, like how surprisingly easy people could slap their identity on it, and
Totally.
and it wasn't a nationalistic choice, but this guy won, Luke. But he made like 3 phases, and it's called like self-doubt, about like being indecisive and having
Yeah.
a struggle with yourself, and like seeing that is just amazing. So I threw like this exhibition.
So nice. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was really cool. Like, and I finally have the confidence to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
And maybe something you
Oh,
wouldn't have
I
done
was-
without like starting off this whole idea.
no,
Yeah.
and also not if I didn't reset like my mindset of saying yes to everything
Yeah.
and being like in this FOMO, like what if I'm not relevant anymore and people don't come back at me if I
Yeah.
say no? And that was the most healthy decision ever for me.
That's awesome. We're just at time actually, but we've covered like a few key things that I
Okay,
wanted to
that's
see
good.
from you, which is
That's
awesome.
good.
That went by super fast. So thank you so much for sharing. And
Thank you.
congrats, you can enjoy off now.
I'm definitely going to do that.
You can go and celebrate.
I'm going to drink a beer.
You deserve it.
Yeah,
Thanks
I think
everyone
so
for
too.
tuning in, and thanks Rik.
Thank you. And fly me out to LA.